Transfer window's only a few days away, and Arsenal are looking to do some business early, and there's been some names linked to us in this short span of time this week, and we're looking at who's a good fit and who isn't a good fit. Now, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like it, and make sure you comment down below about the signings we need to make as soon as the transfer window open. Now, left wing is an issue for Arsenal, I'd say, because it looks like there's going to be a few players leaving this season. And left wing, I feel like definitely needs a refresh. It's something I've repeated before. But during this week, we've had some transfer activity. Now, David Ornstein and Fabrizio have been putting out a few posts about some left wingers we are linked with. Now, one specific name that has come into light recently is a left winger that plays for Club Brugge, who played against Arsenal, and his name is Christos Tzolis. Now, he is a Greek player. And an interesting fact is he actually had a successful trial at Liverpool and didn't obviously progress in there and took his skill set somewhere else. Now, the Belgian league, obviously it's not that competitive compared to the Premier League. I probably think it ranks at the bottom half in terms of Europe, but there's still some great talent that it produces. Now, looking at Tzolis' stats, he's had a quite promising season. I mean, he's had 17 goals and 23 assists, and those are great numbers. I mean, to have 23 assists is a big deal. I know the league isn't as competitive, but if you're going to buy a player, you want to see high numbers. And he's hit double digits for both goals and assists from left wing, and I feel like that's something we've been missing. If you have a great left winger, will that give you a better output for a striker? Will you get better servicing? You can see from the stats that team player. You know, he's a team player that wants to help the team win. Now, could this prove to be a versatile player? Someone that might be able to play the number 10 role? Who knows? But another tweet that David Ornstein put out is that if Arsenal were to purchase this winger, it will not affect their stance on Morgan Rogers. Now, we know Arsenal are huge admirers of Morgan Rogers and is somebody that we want to bring in. He's a great player for Aston Villa, coming off winning the Europa. You know, didn't do too bad in the league. You know, top 6 side now, you can definitely say. And Morgan Rogers was a huge piece of that team. They'll definitely have a few names on their list that they would like to purchase. There's another winger, obviously we've been linked with, and it's been going on for a while. He's also been linked with Liverpool as well, and that is Bradley Barcola. Now, Bradley Barcola, my stance on him, he's quite a good player. You know, he's a 2-time European champion now, even though he's come off the bench. But he is definitely not starting ahead of Kvaratskhelia. And he's somebody that they want to get off their books and somebody that they would like to replace. Now, PSG active looking in the window for wingers. They've looked at Diomande from Leipzig, who Liverpool are heavily interested in. But Liverpool are also in the race for Barcola. Now, if we did not get Barcola, would I be disappointed? Not really. I do feel like he's great in terms of pace, but I don't feel like he has that end product. I don't think there's much difference between him and Martinelli. Barcola definitely can run at defenders very, very fast. We saw that he was making Saliba, you know, struggle quite a bit when he came on as a sub. Had 2 opportunities in front of goal and could not score. So Arsenal have been looking at some strong and interesting players, probably players that we haven't been linked with before in this transfer window, and the transfer window hasn't opened. Arsenal do need to address a few areas, and the areas that they're looking at, I feel like are I wouldn't say the weak points, but areas that we need to refresh. Attack for Arsenal has always been, you know, great for the first part of the season, but the second part is starting to kind of fluctuate, and I feel like having a left winger come into the team, if obviously a Trossard or Martinelli leave, then is something that we can definitely do with. Rashford is another name that obviously we've been linked with as well. So left wing, I feel like is probably the priority for Arsenal, not Arsenal, look at me, I'm going back in the old days, is for Arteta and the boys. And I think I have to agree, if I had to rank all the positions in terms of need, I think left winger is definitely one. But again, I feel like Arsenal want to do their business early, but I think comparing to the last season and the last season transfer window, everything depends on the outgoings. Arsenal definitely should have some outgoings, A, to balance the books, and B, because the squad size is quite big already. Now, we know we played 63 games this season, and squad depth is something you need, but bringing in more talent will mean that talent needs to go, of course, because you're going to be replacing those. So yeah, that is the transfer rumour, well, for this week anyway. As soon as the window's open, it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's interesting to see what players we bring in, what players will leave, and how this will impact the squad going forward. Now, World Cup obviously is upon us. And once the World Cup finishes, I think there's like 2.5 weeks before the league starts. So the pre-season ain't going to be that long. So I feel like if Arsenal do their business early, bring the players in, get them used to the surroundings and the environment, the players, the coaches, then things can get off a strong start in the start of the Premier League season. So yeah, that is all for today. I just want to say I appreciate you all for tuning in. I'll be doing World Cup watch along, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout for more transfer windows news because we're only just getting started and the window hasn't opened yet. It'll be interesting to see who we bring in and who will strengthen this squad. Till next time.